Well, what is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel on May 29th. Lots to discuss. Thank you for tuning in live. If you're watching back or listening via podcast, hope that you are doing well. Tim, you doing all right?
Yeah, let's ready to rock and roll, man. We're a few days away from the official visit season going here, Mike. We got quarterbacks working out all over the country for Notre Dame. Recruiting's picking up like crazy. I mean, we're not even getting into the NCAA stuff. That's something we'll dive into that next week. That's something you and I have never really dived much into about the paying players and all that. So something we could always
from the schools.
What's that?
You talking about the schools paying the kids now, or whatever that is?
The NCAA case, yeah. You and I have kind of always stayed away from a lot of that, so we'll get into that. But that's something I got plenty of opinions.
I don't. I just hate it. I don't like any of it. I miss college football the way it was. That's kind of my take on it.
I'm not saying anything. Keep that energy. We'll get into that when we get time to talk.
All right. So the title of this show is obviously Notre Dame football show. Deuce Knight predicted to Ole Miss ? Guys, just put your diapers on. Like, just if you're someone who pisses your pants when you see anything, just calm down, guys. It's gonna be okay. There's a question mark there for a reason. The answer is yes, but the question mark is there because I think it's bogus. We're gonna talk about that. Okay, so calm down. It's not clickbait. The clickbait would be if he wasn't predicted to Ole Miss. But he was, okay? So it's not clickbait. So I will ban all of you guys. It's 2 clicks for me. Even Mark with glasses is a good buddy. I will ban you. So if you want to yell Taco Bell at me, yeah. Terry says diapers ? Yes, if you piss your pants, you can get some diapers. All right. But first, before we dive into some Deuce Knight discussion and some other Notre Dame recruiting talk, we have to talk about this picture, Tim. I really love this. And you can see, for folks watching on YouTube, my comment over here. I said, I love this. So for folks watching on podcasts, I'm sorry. I always tell you got to come over to the YouTube. So this is Mike Goolsby pictured next to Notre Dame linebacker signee Teddy Rizak. Goolsby's in Nebraska. He's lived there for as long as I've known Goolsby. And here's Notre Dame linebacker signee, Teddy Rizak from Omaha. All right. I don't want to say something that could hurt Goolsby's feelings. But so Goolsby, when I say this, I mean this because I know Goolsby's watching and listening to this back. Goolsby, this is a compliment. Goolsby looks like the Patches O'Houlihan of college football recruiting training here. I mean, looks very wise. look at my guy Goolsby. He just looks like he looks like a badass. And Patches O'Houlihan look a little kooky, but is a badass. I mean, look at the Reps for Jesus tank top by Goolsby, the guns, the rolled up sweatpants, juxtaposed with Teddy Rizak, looks like $1 million. I love this. I love that Goolsby trans Rizak. It's one of my favorite things. Which that's obviously coming to an end with Rizak enrolling at Notre Dame here in a few days. But I love this, Tim. Is this your first time seeing this, or did you see this the other day?
No, first time seeing it. So no, it's you got a next captain, possible future captain, who knows down the road with Mr. Rizak and the way he plays. Great picture out there getting some work in. That's the thing. There's so many photos popping up all over the internet. It's the break, right? Before everyone comes back for the summer here in the next week. Everyone's out getting their training in before they got to go throw up all over the Goog and running the hills and the heat in South Bend. So getting your body right, getting your mind right. Summer training's here. A&M's around the corner. No, Goolsby's looking great. I mean, he's definitely a strong side DN in 2024. But he played back in in the old days. So there you go. He was the perfect ISO linebacker to go plug, scrape, fill, all the good buzzwords we had back in the day. So no, Mike's looking good. Rizak's looking great.
Mike looks fantastic.
His brother's coming, obviously. His brother, Rizek's brother's coming, so it's going to be nice. Little Omaha, bunch of Omaha guys now getting there. You got a couple there, obviously. Watts is from there,
yeah.
so Goolsby is funny. He sends me some training stuff every now and then. Some good football players out there. A bunch of guys go D1 out of that whole little, Omaha, Lincoln, that little those suburbs out there. There's some good football that go bounce around the Big Ten, Mountain West. Good ball out there.
If Notre Dame were to recruit Mike Goolsby, like if you would have put Mike Goolsby as a recruit into 2024, he would have been someone who you bring in as a linebacker, but damn well he's going to move down like a junior or a Burnham.
He's Josh Burnham. I mean, come on. I'm not, let's be honest now, right? Exactly. He's Josh Burnham in 2024 if he signed it today, but
Burnham's
it's all good.
Goolsby's got them skinny ankles. Yeah, Goolsby looks great. Goolsby's in his 40s now, and this is the badass.
The gray's coming on. First time I've seen some gray, so I like it.
Now I'm reading the live chat. The people talking about the Freeman. Look, to some Arkansas like local TV guy
who reads all
kind of bored and putting together like here's some random kind of blog posts about who could be the next. Like if you guys get upset with these things, you're not helping by continuing to share them and talk about them, because the Twitter algorithm then says, people really like this. They're talking about this. They're discussing it. We're going to continue to push it out to more and more people. So if you think someone is trolling, the worst thing you can do is feed into it. The best thing to do is just ignore it. So
Freeman to Arkansas. That's one
that would be.
I'm not here to touch this. Why do people read this stuff? But hey, they got time on your hands, so have kids, right? Have kids, and you won't be clicking on all these articles, people.
Yeah. Which speaking of, Bleeberg said, Singer, congrats on the mini micro. Michelle, I am going to be a girl dad. So October. Couldn't have got pregnant in the off season.
I was not ready to say something, but I'm like, don't say it, Tim. So I'm glad you did. So congratulations, Mike. It's awesome. Mike's going to be a pops, and I'm a 4-time pops. Nothing like it. It's pretty awesome.
4 times.
4 times, my friend. 4 times.
All right, Tim. So I want to talk about the and for folks watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. If you're listening via podcast, please leave us a kind review wherever you listen to your podcast. I am tired, Tim, and when I get tired, I just kind of shoot from the hip. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight.
So we're going to be so you're going to be shooting a lot from the hip in November, then, Mike, because you are going to be exhausted. So just so you know, you don't know what tired is. Okay, tired is not Fortnite at 2 a.m. Different world coming in October, November. Just get ready.
Yeah, when we've had the different foster kids cycle through here the past 6 months, that it's just totally different. We've had from a 3-day-old to like 6-7 years old. So we've had lots of different, and each is exhausting in its own way. So yeah, wild. Okay, so I was at the On3 Elite Series in Nashville, and this is the second year of it. I was not at the first one. So I had no idea really what to expect. So it's a 2-day event. Yesterday was like the media day, and then at night we had a dinner. With all the media, the On3 media being On3 staff and some of the On3 execs, and then all the recruits and their family members that they brought. So that was yesterday. It was really neat. And then today there was more speakers, more events for the kids and stuff like that. Going into it, I really had no idea what to expect. And by the way, Deuce Knight and Will Black, Notre Dame commits, quarterback and offensive tackle respectively, and top safety target Jadon Blair were there from a Notre Dame angle. But the premise of the event is 50 of the top recruits in the country invited to this event. And a lot of these are events like this, like the Rivals 5-Star Challenge. I'd been to a bunch when we were at Rivals. It's an invite only camp. This is an invite only deal, but it's not there's no football competition, which I think the kids like. They don't have to go and sweat and compete. It's more of an informational hangout, fun events, and stuff like that. I really thought going into it that it would be, for the day that I was there, a little bit more like NIL information, or like, brand related stuff, more about like, potential sponsorships. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, all these college football fans probably think, evil On3 and their NIL. That's what I thought might be kind of it. On3 is just so evil because they cover NIL and don't shy away from it like others do. But you know what it was all about yesterday, Tim? And I can't speak to it today because I wasn't there. But some of the clips I saw, I think it does speak to the same thing that was yesterday. It was all life after football talk. I was like, this is 1000%, Tim, this On3 Elite Series event. It was just a pitch to go to Notre Dame. That's really what it felt like to me. Grant Firking is he runs the On3 Elite division, and he talked about how when he was playing at Tennessee, he made such a big deal to go over and talk to donors and boosters and network, and how he knew his playing days were going to be over very soon as a walk-on, but everyone's playing days are done at some point, and that he wanted to set himself up for after football. So you're hearing from these at dinner, we're hearing from different execs at these companies, who many of them were former football players, and they all talked about life after football. I was pleasantly surprised and happy. So I did want to just mention that real quick about the On3 Elite Series. Maybe you've been on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, and you've seen some stuff about it. You want more information. That was it. And I was really happy to be there. But in terms of the recruiting side of things and the coverage, did get to talk to three of the guys, and wanted to go through them each. And then I'll throw it over to Tim for his reaction about this stuff. So Jadon Blair, the big news item here is that On3 Steve Wiltfong, the best in the business, predicted him to Notre Dame. Blair said that the Irish are setting the pace in his recruitment. Blair is from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, number 151 overall player, number 15 safety in the 2025 class. Looks like a Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State battle, but Notre Dame is the favorite going into those official visits. He's visiting those three schools, and there's a couple others in June. Irish looking good there. I'm not too far off from a prediction, but yeah, just some other things I had kind of heard behind the scenes make me feel pretty good about where the Irish stand with Jadon Blair, which Tim would add to a crazy good defensive back class for the Irish. Will Black, how about this, Tim? The first prospect there. I wasn't even at the event yet. Will Black was already there for media. He was like 45 minutes early. I was like, of course, the Notre Dame offensive lineman.
It's the New England Plains. They're a little different, so they work different. You got it's different getting out of here. So up here, but that's When I saw you post that, or you texted me, I was just laughing. Typical old lineman, right? First there.
Yeah.
No flops. Show up, get some work done.
I got my measurements taken. I was in shoes at 6'3". I was joking around with Cody Belair and Charles Power. They're doing measurement stuff. I was 6'3" shoes on, so I'll take 6'2.5". Will checked in at 6'7.5". So it was on 3 pages, hasn't updated yet. When I talked to Will and his mom, they were like, "Oh, okay, now he's 6'7.5". So he just is not done growing. In 283. A frame that he can just continue to add weight. So Will Black was the talk in the morning, not because he was there before everyone else, but because just like that's the first guy to walk in. Like that's the first guy you want off the bus kind of deal. Like Will Black looked absolutely tremendous. And in terms of his commitment to Notre Dame, very locked in with the Irish. We'll sign with Notre Dame in December and enroll next summer. And then there's the headliner, Deuce Knight. Okay. The gist here, Tim, is that he's fully locked in with Notre Dame, And he told me, and there are other interviews that, different outlets, different like On3 team sites or, national guys, when they talk to him, Deuce is just like, look, I'm keeping not options open, but I'm keeping contact with other schools in case something crazy happens at Notre Dame, which is kind of wise. Um, and that I think that's really the only thing to see. So I talked to him in the early afternoon when he got there. And that was the gist. I wrote up a little insider notes package. You can find more about it at blueandgold.com. And then this happened. David Johnson, an Ole Miss insider at 24/7. I don't know David personally, never been involved in the Ole Miss market, but I was shocked to see a flip prediction for Deuce to go to Ole Miss. As soon as I see that, I mean, obviously it wasn't hard to talk to sources, at the event and whatnot, and talk to other people that connected and with knowledge to the recruitment. And I can't find anything that would say that Deuce is like going to flip to Ole Miss. Could he? Could he, Tim? Sure, he could. Yeah, I'm sure there's a scenario out there where he could end up, at Washington State or Montana. Could anything can happen, Tim? But this is very much just throwing something on a wall and seeing it sticks. I'm not trying to throw shade on David Johnson. I don't know him personally. Could be an amazing reporter and guy and everything. But I mean, even in his explanation, he just he didn't really have any intel on this or anything. I really think that this prediction was just to throw something on the wall and see if it sticks. So I will add this, and I put this on the message board earlier today. And I wish I could throw out more, kind of context and intel for you guys, but just not able to right now. I feel better than ever with how solid Deuce is. I think he's very, very, very strong with his Notre Dame commitment. Just last week, Tim, training with Riley Leonard, CJ Card, a bunch of the Notre Dame receivers. He's going up to South Bend this weekend. We'll see him throw Sunday at Irish Invasion, coming back for his official visit. I'm guessing he'll be at 3 or 4 games this fall, and then he'll sign in December and enroll in January. So, yeah. People thinking the Deuce is loose to Ole Miss. I don't think that. I think it's a bunch of crap, and I think he's very solid with the Irish.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's going up to Irish Invasion for 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go up there and throw. He's going up there to run around and throw with some guys and get some work with Coach Denver. I mean, the whole entire staff works Irish Invasion, so he's going to go up there, spend time with them, probably hang out in the film room, just learn, do all those things as he goes back to Mississippi, plays his senior year. So you got a guy going up from Mississippi to South Bend for 3-4 days, beginning of June, on his own dime, and then he's coming back 10 days later for his official visit. Then he comes back after official visit, probably keeps help recruiting the class. Then he starts his own training camp, and he's into his season. Like you said, he'll come up for a couple of games next season. Then he signs in November. Bam, I'm sure he's an early enrollee. Yeah. So he's fine, man. I mean, people talking I can't tell you how many kids that were solid but kept talking. I've been around a million of them. That's what kids just do it sometimes. They just talk, they say hi, answering the phone is not a bad thing. It's okay to say hi to people.
Yeah.
It's called respect. The old saying, you just never know in this world. Mike, we had a quarterback. We won the state championship in 2006. We had a quarterback getting on a plane at LAX. He was flying out to Memphis to go commit. The dude was walking on the plane, and Memphis says, "Please exit the plane. We just got to commit from someone else." Literally, kid you not. He called me and my buddy Kevin. We handled all the recruiting for the head coach. Bam, got him on a plane somewhere about 5-6 days later. Ended up being an all MAC quarterback in the MAC. I've seen the craziest stuff. So I've seen a guy go to Hawaii on a full ride, lands in Hawaii, got his offer pulled because they ended up getting somewhere. You just never know in this crazy world. Yeah. Obviously, quarterback's different and whatnot. So we're not fully expecting that, but you just never know. And it's okay to go say hi to someone, but it's always the other things, correct? What he's doing with Notre Dame, coming to Notre Dame nonstop, all those things over and over and over again. I mean, we interviewed him. He's one of the most polite dudes I've ever talked with. He's unbelievable. You just spent 24 hours with the guy. There's a bunch of videos with him now on YouTube. People could go check out and just listen.
From the On3 event,
speak. He's an amazing young man who is great to listen to, great to talk with, great smile, personality, all those things. So I'm excited. I mean, for him to be coming to Notre Dame, and it's a big upset. It's SEC country. Let's be real. Yeah. No one wants their people to leave the deep South. They don't want them going up north. So people are going to keep fighting like hell until the very end, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, good stuff, Tim. Couple thoughts here. One is some of the talk about this is a little self-inflicted and I don't mean this for this to come across as a negative thing, but like Deuce could just come out and say like, no, I am just with Notre Dame and I'm not talking to anyone else. I'm shutting my recruitment down 100%. He could do that. He's not. So with that, people are going to continue asking questions. And when Deuce says an interview, like, oh, I'm still talking to Colorado and I love Lane Kiffin and all that stuff. Like that brings the questions, like Tim, we're not talking about Jerome Bettis's commitment to Notre Dame and how solid it is. Why? Because there's no reason to. Like we know there's nothing there, right? With Deuce, he's at least saying that like he's interested in these other schools, or at least talking to the staffs.
Well, his family's got. Let's go back 10 years. His family's got a long relationship
connection with Bama.
DeBoer. I mean, DeBoer. I mean, it was his first offer when he was at Indiana. So DeBoer has been recruiting him forever. You know what I mean? So he's got relationships. Kiffin's the in-state guy. You're gonna say hi to the in-state coach because who knows? He goes up to South Bend a year later.
100%. Yep, that's what. I was about to say that next. You want to be respectful because you never know which coaches could be on the move. Heck, you could be on the move someday if you don't start. You don't want to burn any of those bridges.
Mike, just a year ago after the season, look at all the guys that left. Notre Dame. It just happens. It happens. No one thought Rico Flores, who's the leading receiver on the team, bails after his freshman year. He's a full-fledged starter every day that he's going to be at Notre Dame. He leaves. You just don't know. And it's okay to have a little respect in this world.
So I kind of talked about the words that are being out there, but what speaks louder than those words are actions? And what has he done except for take 8 visits to Notre Dame in the past 13 months? And he's got 2 more coming up in the month of June. I mean, guys, he's coming to Notre Dame. There's one other thing before we move on, Tim.
Sure.
I had this picture popped up of Deuce trying on the Notre Dame hat. Well, one of the staffers there kind of joked with him, and it was like, I mean, do you want to throw on an Ole Miss hat for a picture? Just in case or whatever. And Deuce was just like, no, I do not want to put that on.
No.
So
that is funny that someone asked him that and shot that down. Yeah.
So that's it, guys. Was he predicted to Ole Miss? Yes. Do I think it's bogus might be a strong word, but I really think it's just throwing something to the wall and seeing if it sticks, Tim. Like I could throw $1,000 on the green 0 on roulette. I could hit. That doesn't make it a smart decision if it hits. I mean, that was great, but it doesn't mean it was like a wise play. I don't see it happening. I think he's rock solid with the Irish. So that's kind of the rundown. Ooh, my wife just texted me if I wanted something from Chick-fil-A. Yes, salad. At the Southwest salad from Chick-fil-A.
Hey, going back to Will Black real quick. His
please.
Yeah, I mean his measurables. I mean, that kid just keeps getting better. Once again, there's tons of stuff out there from his spring combines that he's done and some of the camps. Absolutely just blowing up the charts and just looking. That's one impressive looking dude.
Yeah.
That guy, Not that he wasn't good already. You just see the growth in his footwork, his hands, his speed, everything. And going back to, I'm sure everyone saw on Twitter, running a 4.9 electronic is just freakish. And then with Blair being there, hell of a safety. I mean, he's got the length that is just absolutely awesome to see back there. The only thing, and this could be something you could chat about, isn't he coming up for a midweek? And it's like, it was always odd to me, but he really likes Notre Dame. He's been to Notre Dame multiple times, has a great relationship with them. He's kind of talked about them being the standard bearer, just especially after his last visit during spring ball. So that's just always interesting. But maybe it could be always, as you know, it could be a good thing. Just him and his family up there spending a couple days with everyone, going over everything under the sun when it comes to Notre Dame, and maybe that closes the deal for him.
Yeah, here's that Will Black.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
At 4'9", 4'9" at 283 pounds. An impressive guy.
I don't care if it's 39 yards, it's fast. It's like, he's flying 4'9". So yeah, when you see guys like that and just the athletic ability he has and the explosiveness, and you're just like, my God, I can't wait to see him in a weight room. Not that he's not working out now. He's obviously at a high-end, big-time program and things of that nature, strength coaches and all that. But, the old kid to a college saying, and really, really excited for him.
Yeah. Regarding Blair, I think it was his sister's graduating that weekend. He was originally going to go to Notre Dame or something. Okay. So he had to move it. So I don't think he's visiting anywhere the 14th weekends.
Gotcha.
He moved that to the 11th, I believe it was.
And that's one thing. I mean, I'm a fan of visits, and that he's taken like 7 or 8 officials, it seems like. So nothing wrong with that. Go check everyone out. But as you said, and everyone else, it's kind of pretty much coming down to a 3-team race.
Yeah.
And looking forward to that.
Tim, have we talked? I don't know if we have about Coach Tim Hyde running the Notre Dame Fighting Irish football program in the new EA college football 25 game.
You've mentioned it. How excited you are. He's going to be your ringleader. Is Goolsby going to be a mic or an end? Have you figured that out? Him and Burnham.
So when I get this game on July 16th, because I'm paying for the early access.
Oh boy!
First thing I'm going to do is just play the game, practice mode, some exhibitions and whatnot, just to kind of learn. Then the first thing I'm doing after that is launching my Tim Hyde Notre Dame Dynasty, and this will all be able to watch on my my Twitch stream where I game.
Just get me I want to see Goolsby with a pop right in the A gap, one of those Maris Leofau blitzes, gets a sack for Goolsby. And I want to get a good high five. Just send me a screenshot when I'm high-fiving Mike.
Okay, so that's going to be my other game mode where it's Road to Glory. You just play as one guy. So Goolsby will start out as a middle linebacker, and then will probably end up a defensive end in modern football. But yes, the Tim Hyde, when the first action that you're going to have as head coach is a change at QB1. And you're going to start Steve Angeli against your...
As long as I get a running back into the flat on the first play, I'm happy.
Oh, no. The first play, 1,000% is a bomb to Chris Mitchell. I don't care what the situation is. It's a bomb to Chris Mitchell. We could have just recovered a fumble.
18 yards. You get those 18-yard vertical, catch it, and it could go 70. I like it. Mike, I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
All right. Let's hear from our sponsors over at Augie's Locker Room, the place for Notre Dame memorabilia. You can really find what Augie has at Augie's Locker Room. There's no other destination for Notre Dame memorabilia quite like Augie's Locker Room, which has moved to a new location, 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend, just down the street from Notre Dame. Check out Augie's wide selection of Notre Dame stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind Rockney items. You can find exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues around the stadium. Augie gets new stuff in all of the time, and I feel like since last week's show, I don't remember seeing some of this stuff. So this is the online store we're looking at for folks watching on YouTube. really new stuff all the time. So please visit Augie. New location as of last fall. It's 1733 North Ironwood Drive. So check it out and see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890. AuggiesLockerRoom.com or give him a call 574-277-6363. All right, Tim. NBC released their, I mean, we knew the dates, but now it's times for the kickoffs and television designation. And this includes the Shamrock Series. So here is the home slate / Shamrock Series game. That's, of course, Yankee Stadium. So I'll read this out for podcast audience. Northern Illinois, September 3rd, 3:30. 2 weeks later, Miami of Ohio, 3:30. 1 week later, here's the biggie, Tim. The biggest reaction to all this, instead of having your Peacock game every year, which in the past has been like a Central Michigan or Toledo, it could have been Northern Illinois. It could have been Miami of Ohio. Tim, it's Louisville. One of the few games on Notre Dame's schedule where the other team's probably going to be ranked. It's a revenge game for the Irish. Those NBC execs wanted to make some money. So they put it Peacock only. All of the games are available on Peacock, but this one is not available on NBC. So a Peacock game, Tim. And then October 12th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Stanford. November 9th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time kick when the Irish host Florida State. 3:30 Eastern for Notre Dame, Virginia, November 16th. And then that Shamrock Series game is in primetime, Notre Dame Army, 7 p.m. At Yankee Stadium. One other note here, Tim, is the past several years, Notre Dame has kind of switched for their afternoon games from 3:30. It was 3:30 for the longest time, but to 2:30, I think it was like 2018. Notre Dame's now, it looks like they're going back to 3:30 because there's other games now on NBC. So, 2:30 was because Notre Dame was, could kind of do whatever they wanted. So they pushed it to 2:30, but now it's back to 3:30 with the Big Ten being on NBC. So lots that I just kind of rambled through. Tim, do you have much of a take on this? Tim Hyde, the coach. Come on, give me something saucy.
I mean, obviously we fully expected the one primetime. People think, oh, this game should be primetime. You got the Big Ten now. So the Big Ten setting up, making sure they get all their programs into primetime. And thought I read on Twitter a few weeks ago when someone was asking about this, someone had posted Notre Dame has a contract, I think it's 3 night games over 2 years or 3 years. So it's not like you have to have multiple ones every year. So they're going to meet their need. Obviously, Florida State's going to be a biggie. Something I just thought about real quick, the Peacock, dude, it's streaming. Pay $5, watch the ball game. It's like everyone's got 1,000 streaming apps. Borrow Uncle Joe's, watch it. Come on. They talked about this during the blue and gold game. Freeman kind of the cat out of the bag. Yeah, it's going to be Louisville. So, they already knew that. People are going to watch it. It's going to be a top 25 matchup more than likely.
Yeah.
The way Louisville's schedule starts that early part of the season. So it's going to be a big game. Enjoy it. Yeah. Talking about the streaming stuff is always hilarious.
Yeah.
It just is to me. But real quick, I just thought about the Army thing. Is like, if that's a Shamrock game, obviously Freeman, that means we're going to get a video in the summer. What's the video going to be?
Oh, okay.
Game. 100th anniversary of the Four Horsemen. Who are going to be they have to put 4 dudes on a horse, Mike. Right? You have to.
Okay. So Freeman's going to be one of them.
What's that?
Freeman will be one of them, right? Because last year, or the year before, when they did the big Vegas one.
Or do you put the players? Obviously, do you put the running back?
Well, okay, wait. So last year, the Shamrock thing, they did Estime.
His Hartman Estime. It was Show Me the Money. Last year was Show Me the Jersey thing.
Year before that was the whole spoof of
Hangover.
Hangover.
Hangover in Vegas for the Vegas game. So this year, dude, it's got to be the 4. You got to go. Let's just think about this. You go Riley Leonard, obviously the 2 backs, Price and Love. And then who do you put on who's the other one? It could be anybody. It could be Greathouse. It could be Mitch Evans if you want. You got to think of that. I don't know if they'll put a coach on the horse. You know what I mean?
If they yeah.
But that's going to be a fun little video. they got to do something about the Four Horsemen. They have to do something about that. That's got to be the video.
All right, one of my most unpopular takes is that I don't really give a rat's ass about if it's on Peacock or not. I don't even have traditional cable anymore. I just do all streaming services, and then I use my father-in-law's cable login for ESPN and everything. So I watch every single Notre Dame home game on Peacock. That's the only way I watch the Notre Dame home game. So look, if people saying that the streaming is not great, Tim, do you have any issues with the Peacock stream? I don't. I don't know. It's fine.
I
And
seriously don't. It's like
$5 a month.
Rewind on the rewatch on Sundays when I get back into it.
It's $15.
Live. I've never had.
Try to find dinner. Go to a restaurant and eat dinner for $15. You get this for 3 months. You could just have it during the football season, and you could watch The Office and Parks and Rec, Modern Family, three of the best shows.
And there's a Big Ten game on it every single week. So moving forward, enjoy it. I'm just glad that we're starting to get the times. We're starting to get everything situated. The schedule's getting rolling. More and more games are coming out with times and setting the calendars and all that. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's get back to some actual football talk, Tim. Enough of this recruiting and media broadcast and Mike Goolsby's tattoo. How about this? On3's Jesse Simonton went through and gave top 10 positional rankings for every position. It's not an easy thing. Let's just start there. That's not an easy thing to do. One guy rank top 10. I mean, you have to do a lot of research if you're going to do it decently. Start with the offense, Tim. So again, this is every position, top 10 units in the country. So at quarterback, Notre Dame's at 6. I think that's pretty fair. Notre Dame, it's a deep quarterback room. It's unproven, but it's deep. Running back, Notre Dame was not ranked. I feel like that's pretty understandable at this point. Tight end for Notre Dame is 6. I think a lot of that rests on, the health of your guy at the top, but still overall, I think 6 sounds fair there. Wide receiver, Notre Dame not ranked. I don't know how you could rank them there at this point. I think they could be a top 10 unit in the country. Offensive line, not in the top 10. I'm sure that's a lot to do to, like Tyler wrote in this article, this is what life after Joe Walton, Blake Fisher looks like. So any reaction to this, Tim? Too high, too low, just right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you look at quarterback, obviously, to me, I think that's showing a lot of respect to Notre Dame when you're putting them up that high in the top 10. I mean, obviously Ole Miss has a good quarterback coming back. The whole top 5 has got established quarterbacks who've played. I mean, Riley, he's right up in that group. So I don't get if he's 2, 3, whatever it is. I think 6 is a pretty good compliment to Riley Leonard and obviously the backups. Angeli started a ball game, and obviously the 2 young guys, the 2 talented studs underneath are pretty good. So it's fine. It's good when you see Notre Dame ranked in a quarterback. So it's been a while, and we'll roll from there. So I like that. Running backs, we talked about this before when we were like trying to make predictions. I totally understand about it because it's all about production, correct? I'm not sitting here saying I know every single one of these teams' productions, who's coming back 100% and stuff like that. But Notre Dame just lost a 1,300-yard running back who was second-team All-American, and he was a consensus second-team All-American from everyone. So take it at the end of the year. I've been saying Price is going to tear it up. I fully expect that at the end of the year. If it's Price and Love kicking butt, it wouldn't be surprising. Wide receiver, tight ends up there. Tight ends is total Mitch Evans, but if Evans isn't fully healthy, it's a lot of unproven guys, even though we know as Notre Dame fans how talented they are. So Syracuse number 4, I'd love to see who that guy is. I need to figure that out. So, hey, good for Syracuse. People don't like seeing Georgia up there all the time. You got a lot of dudes getting drafted lately who've been playing tight end. Iowa, just throw them in the mix. That guy's going to be successful.
Probably same for Notre Dame here.
Yeah, but
Even though
those
Mitch
Iowa,
Evans is a known commodity.
those
But
Iowa guys in the NFL are different dudes, though, man. Those guys.
yeah. And then receivers.
Receivers, I don't. There's no way in hell you could put them in the top 10. There's no way. Unless you just like watching Faison play lacrosse and football, and that's the guy you know. You can't rank them in the top 10. So
I love what Tyler wrote here. Everyone can talk about Notre Dame's revamped receiver room all they want, but none of the offseason tire pumping does not matter if it's not followed by in-season production. Jesse Simonson is clearly wanting to buy stock in the Irish receivers, or waiting to buy stock, which is fair. Offensive line, this I think everything was very fair up to this point. But I do wonder, I mean, maybe you leave Notre Dame O-line off this for the same reason you left the receivers. But still, I mean, your tackles are, an On3 5-star. Yeah, brand new, but an On3 5-star who looked pretty good in the bowl game. And, with Tosh Baker, likely, maybe Emil Wagner. We'll see how that goes in fall camp, but Wagner's another 5-star guy.
Yeah, I mean, LSU has some dudes coming back. Texas is going to be stacked. Georgia's probably got the best interior returning. I would put Notre Dame's interior guys up there pretty high. So it's going to come down to the tackles. Notre Dame's O-line, after those first few games, that first month, could easily roll into a top 10. If you're in the top 10, you're a Joe Moore semifinalist. And I could see this Notre Dame unit doing that, especially with the running backs they have. And the production, and Riley Leonard comes and does what he's fully expected. One thing about Notre Dame is, man, if Emil Wagner wins the job, I mean, you could have 5 guys returning. They could easily be the Joe Moore favorites in 2025 with tons of guys coming back with starting experience and a whole year under their belt. So I could see 2025, they're going to be number 1 on this list returning. So offense, a lot of it makes sense. Quarterback, really good respect. And then the one position is going to be running back. Those are the ones we as fans know Notre Dame's got some dudes, especially the top 2, that are going to just chew up a lot of yards this coming season. So I could see them in the top 10 unit at the end of the year.
All right, move to defense. Notre Dame's defense on paper looks outstanding. And Jesse agrees here. It's got Notre Dame 7 on the defensive line. Could be even a little low.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Ohio State's got some freakazoids coming back. Michigan's got, I know we love to say, how excited we are. They got 2 dudes that are probably going to get picked in the first round playing on the interior. They got a DN returning. Georgia's Georgia until we know otherwise. Oregon, I like to see who Oregon has, which I don't know. I know Clemson has some dudes coming back that are definitely, and Ole Miss got, maybe Ole Miss is out high because of a couple of the transfers they have, but Notre Dame is, I would have put them in the top 5 just because the experience, and they're old, Mike. They're old. You got 2 6-year dudes, 2 5th-year guys. That's just your front 4 starters, and then the back they got some, especially some vets on the interior. So it's hard not to see probably Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, probably the top 3 interior groups in the country, and we'll see how Oben and Botello handle the edges. But it's a solid group that's going to, without a doubt, be a top 5-ish in that run in most of the season. This is the surprising one to me, is linebacker.
Why is that?
Well, you just lost 2 guys get drafted in this, by the NFL. I mean, Notre Dame hasn't had 2 inside linebackers drafted since the Holtz years in the same draft class. It's been a long, long time. I think I posted the last 15, 20 years, only 6 or 7 true inside backers have even been picked by Notre Dame in 20 years. 2 of them are this year. So a lot of experience, a lot of playing time, a lot of productivity. Obviously, as the NFL saw that as well. So Kaiser's coming back, but Kaiser was a 5-year backup. I mean, he's got starts. He's played a lot. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was high, but it goes to the expectations of probably Jesse realizing what Notre Dame has coming up, how talented some of these young guys are. We've been talking about them for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And, it's, I would say, more potential being a top 10 unit, especially after you lose 2 guys in the NFL. And they only played 2 inside linebackers. So it's not like they're a 3-backer unit. So
calling all Notre Dame fans to consider purchasing the 2024 Notre Dame football preview. It's a 160-page full-color glossy magazine covering the Fighting Irish football. program that you love. It really is a must-have. So go to Blue. So this is different than our website, blueandgold.com. This is our magazine website, Blue Gold Online. So bluegoldonline.com. When you go there, this is the first thing that pops up. It says click here to see how to save on pre-orders. We'll click that. And there's 3 ways to save. So if you're already a magazine subscriber, if you're Blue and Gold subscriber, or if you're neither of those, when I say Blue and Gold subscriber, I mean our website, not a YouTube subscriber that anyone could do. Costs a little bit of money to be on the On3 website, which we do recommend doing as well. It's just $1 to sign up. So you can sign up for $1 and then go ahead and get savings, some big savings as a online subscriber to blueandgold.com on the magazine. So there you go. But even if you're not a subscriber, you can still save $5 with free shipping, an offer that ends in what is that, like 8 or 9 days or something, and offer ends June 7th. So pre-order your copy, in-depth analysis of each position group. You got lots of player features. Jack is texting me every 20 minutes asking for, hey, do you know someone who can help me out with this story, trying to go through my Rolodex of sources for his articles. Previews of Notre Dame opponents, evaluation of the 2019 class, kind of a final look at that. Just really a ton. I mean, if you're a Notre Dame fan and you've got the football preview before, you know that thing's been sitting on your coffee table, for the entire season, and you use it as a reference point, and some recruiting articles as well. I talked to Deuce Knight for 15 minutes yesterday, and that full story is going to be in the football preview. So please check it out. Pre-order your copy before June 7th. And you can save up to $10. So bluegoldonline.com. And there is a PDF version that you can get when you purchase as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. Going back to our rankings, Tim, yeah, I'm with you. I would have been fine with Notre Dame's outside the top 10 for the same reason receiver and offensive line is. Cornerback, though, number 6, Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa. Number 3, Michigan, Florida State ahead of the Irish there. Notre Dame again at number 6.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned. I mean, Iowa just by defense. Once again, I don't know who they have, but Notre Dame, obviously, Benjamin Morrison. You just start looking, bam. I'm sure that top 6, everyone's got an NFL guy, starting for him. Will Johnson obviously at Michigan, Iowa. Who knows? But they would crank out defense. Ohio State obviously has their some DBs coming back, but. Yeah, Notre Dame, who they have on one side, but then it's Christian Graves, top 100. Jaden Mickey's a top 200 corner. So your top 3 are pretty solid there. Then if you're in a pinch, Mike, you got 2 vets, and Clark and Hurd that have played, even though they're predicted to play safety nickel. I mean, if you need them at corner, they have experience, obviously, at Arizona State, Northwestern playing that. So as a group, it's top 5, top 6 is definitely within a top 10 cornerback unit heading into this season. So the expectations are sky high when we talk about Notre Dame secondary.
How many times in years past, let's just say the past 10 years, if you would do this exercise, you would say that Notre Dame would have a top 10 position unit nationally in almost every single spot. So it's just, and I think so far, Jesse Simons has been very fair to Notre Dame.
I think so.
Every defensive group is on here, as it should be. Running back, I get why they're on there. Receiver, get it. I would have had offensive line in there and probably not linebacker, but, totally fine. I mean, Tim, this roster for the Fighting Irish looks fantastic. Goolsby talked about it last week. If Riley Leonard stays healthy, he sees Notre Dame. I don't want to put words in Goolsby's mouth, but I feel like he said this team can make a playoff run if Leonard stays healthy throughout the year. So.
Sure.
Yeah. So
then you get your safety group. Iowa number 1. There you go, Mike. So
is that a Xavier Wonkba? Is he
he's still there?
Yeah. He's so that I wonder if he's the guy.
But Notre Dame at number 4, I thought Horka. It's like this is 100% Xavier Watts, obviously returning consensus All-American coming back because. Still question marks on who in the world's playing next to him. And is nickel part of the corner or is nickel a safety? So we'll see what they, like we've mentioned, they have experience. Clark at nickel, who's the backup nickel? They got to figure that out now that Michael Bell took so much training in the spring and he's gone. And then the other safety was obviously Hurd finishing up his degree work before he could come to Notre Dame, not being able to go in the spring. But Schuler got all those reps. So, young safeties on the, opposite Xavier Watts, but the number 4 ranking is going to be Xavier Watts. Everyone knows he's going to be roaming backside, ball hawking, hopefully 2 years in a row and get it back-to-back, like Kyle Hamilton, right? Back-to-back safety All-American honors out there. That'll look pretty nice. But, this is Xavier Watts earning this ranking all on his own right here. But goes back to the secondary. And I think Georgia, I could be wrong. I don't see Michigan in this one. Notre Dame, Georgia, probably Ohio State, I'm assuming. Were they in the – they're in the corners. So the only 3 in every group is Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia. I think just doing a quick little scan of and that tells you the reputation that they have on defense coming back with a lot of these guys and the expectations going into this season to especially game 1, man. Go out there and just wreak havoc against A&M and cause hell for those guys and have a defensive W in that game. So that's going to be important. But you're right, Mike. Just real quick, going off of 2020, the expectations were high. I mean, they were so old and experienced. That was definitely a playoff roster. 2018, after the 17 revival, after the 16 meltdown, a lot of old guys on that 18 team, and some good recruiting guys that have stepped up. So those playoff teams really stood out. 15, just 2 tough ass losses on the last play of the game to Stanford and Clemson out there in the rain. Yeah, well, those are hard. I mean, because they were on the cover of SI. Everyone's preseason top 3 or 4 picked to go to the playoffs. But it's only been a handful of teams you could say going in a season like that's a legitimate top 5 to 10 football team with a real shot at getting into the semis. And I think this team really, really has a shot at getting into that Final Four.
Throw one more thing out there, Tim, as we wind down the show. This came out. I'm going to read this tweet from On3. EA Sports is paying colleges for College Football 25. This is the video game, of course, based on a tier system using AP poll finishes from the last 10 years. So the schools in Tier 1, 99,000, Tier 2, 59,000, Tier 3, 39,000, Tier 4, 9,000. Here are the Tier 1 schools. Yeah. Bama, Michigan. Michigan just must have slid in there. I mean, obviously they finished number 1 this past year, but whatever. Okay, Ohio State, Oregon, Clemson, Oklahoma State. Tier 1, Oklahoma State. Okay.
Yeah, they've been solid, consistent top 25 program.
Yeah.
No, that was. I'll be honest. That was one that was like, oh man, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, for me, I was even like, oh, Michigan, okay. Because when you see Tier 2s, there's a lot of schools I feel like would have maybe been in Tier 1, but Oklahoma, Utah, okay, yeah, Georgia, Iowa. So there's Iowa again, Tier 1, and then LSU.
Iowa wins 9 games with their eyes closed most of the time. But
and then in Tier 2, you have schools like SC, Florida State, Texas, Wisconsin, Florida, Washington.
Tier 2 is huge. I was actually, if anything, SC's had so many meltdown seasons. That was like, wow, they're like the first team listed in Tier 2.
USF's in there. My Bulls are Tier 2. When I say my Bulls, I can name like 3 players on that.
Tier 2 is loaded. Yeah, thank God they didn't do this the 10 years prior to these 10 years, and Notre Dame would be hovering in that bottom 3rd tier. So that would not have been good. So we're talking about Indy right at the right time right now, which is fun. But that top tier is when you see them, it's once again Notre Dame's irrelevant. Doesn't mean anything. Who do they play? Blah 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 blah. And here you are up in the top, Mike, just doing what they do.
Yeah,
win some games, show up. Sell out crowds. I mean, how many teams sold out their bowl game last year? And Sun Bowl sold out in 24 hours. So
Jason says, "What's this about Deuce? I came in late for the show." Well, I mean, it's great. I mean,
rewind.
The great thing is you can just swipe back, and you can watch the beginning of the show. So yeah, Bleeberg says Singer's thinking about salad. Yeah, my wife's out of town, and I came back into town. I was like, I'm not cooking, so I just snacked. So it's good that Singer's gonna have some real dinner. So Tim, we have our Friday show with myself and Kyle Kelly. We're gonna preview Irish Invasion, and then we'll have a show next Wednesday. We'll talk Notre Dame recruiting for a lot of June, Tim, for our Wednesday show, and then anything else that's that pops up between now and next Wednesday, and it'll be busy. So a ton of coverage at blueandgold.com, at blue or at Notre. Okay, come on, Singer. A lot of coverage at blueandgold.com this weekend. It's going to be a busy few days in the world of Notre Dame football recruiting. Irish Invasion coming up will be a big one. So we are going to sign off the show there. Thank you guys very much for watching. And as always, we will catch you next time.